you're so impulsive. You're so impulsive. No, I'm a bold decision maker. I'm quick to act. Hey squirrels, welcome to ADHD, where ADHD isn't some clinical diagnosis, it's just life. I'm AV, your always honest tour guide through this beautiful mess. Over here, we're not about fixing yourself. We're about figuring out how to actually enjoy your life as you are. So grab a snack and let's go. Hey squirrels, welcome back. This episode today helps neurodivergent entrepreneurs identify their often overlooked strengths and begin really truly aligning themselves with business operations. It's not about fixing, but more about remembering who you are and building smarter systems that support that. So if you've spent more time trying to fix your brain than build with it, this is your sign to stop doing that. Your strengths have always been there. They've just been mislabeled. So let's get into it and see if we can't fix a little of that misalignment that's happening in your brain right now. So in order to talk about any of this, we really need to understand why neurodivergent entrepreneurs often miss their strengths. What is going on that makes us see ourselves as different than we are, right? So the first thing, of course, is social conditioning. The world has rewarded us for our masking and not for our authenticity. And what do I mean by that? What I mean is when we were being normal, when we were sitting down and acting right and our hands were in our laps and our legs were crossed and we were being good little girls and good little boys and not being disruptive, that's when we got rewarded. But if you are ADHD like me, or you have another type of neurodivergency, you know that that requires a lot of effort from you to maintain that social masking. But just like any other conditioning, you continue to do whatever activity you've been rewarded for. That's what we seek out. We seek out pleasure and we avoid pain. So if my environment is going to reward me for behaving in a masked way, that's the way I'm going to behave. And then what ends up happening, I'm kind of disconnected from myself. I'm not listening to my own inner voice as my compass. I'm allowing other people to sway me. Another thing is that what comes easily to us almost feels too easy. So we assume that it doesn't count. And this is something that I work on literally every single day with my coach. I will sit in meetings for 5 hours straight, meetings with my whole team, and they get the best of me and they get my brain power and they get my ideas and I'm listening to everything and I'm following what everyone is talking about and I'm responding to everything. And then I finish all of my meetings and it's about noon and I say to myself, all right, let me do something today. So then I found myself saying, okay, now I need to do something with the rest of my day, right? But this week I caught myself and I said, like, hold up, time out. You just said that you spent your entire morning in meeting. And for the CEO, that's actually my job. My job is actually to be on those meetings and pay attention and be present the whole time and listen actively the whole time and know what everyone else is doing without interrupting the flow of their work. And because it didn't feel hard, I wasn't giving myself the credit for the mental bandwidth that it took up. So I was just left with this pattern of feeling like I wasn't doing enough and then beating myself up. But then when I wanted to do more, there isn't really more for me to do per se, because that would be outside of the scope of my position. And that leads me to the next point is we're so used to adapting, we can't always see where we shine the brightest. And by shine the brightest, when I'm talking to us, to you and me, I'm talking about the thing that we do really well and enjoy doing very much. You're good at a lot of things. You don't do the things you're good at. You do the things that you enjoy. That's the way that you need to start to delegate. And that means you need to tap into yourself and know what you enjoy. But again, we're so used to adapting. Whatever problem comes my way, I'm definitely going to be able to figure out. And we can't see where we excel. We only see where we struggle. So then when you take my example, I look back at my day where all I did was be on 5 hours of meetings. And I say to myself, whoa, I was so exhausted by the end of that. How ridiculous that I was feeling tired. I must need to take more supplements or do more this or do more that to fix my exhaustion because I'm highlighting the struggle significantly more than I'm highlighting the success and even the effort. Because at the end of the day, ADHD masking creates a false narrative. And the narrative it creates is if it's not hard, it's not valuable. And that's some premium bullshit. Because if you're waiting for stuff to be hard for you, maybe you create difficulty for things to feel valid. And maybe you're just never going to feel valuable because most things are easy for you. And then maybe you take on too much because you're craving the value that isn't going to come from doing more things and more things and more things and taking on harder and harder and harder tasks. So what do? The first step is to be delusional, okay? This is where I'm telling you that you should be a delusional person. And what do I mean by that? I mean that you should reframe your flaws as your power. And reframing partially is kind of like a fancy little lie that we tell ourselves, but really it's the actual truth. So if we can break down our common traits and flip the narrative, I can choose the way I see something. Big asterisks to say, don't lie to yourself. Don't be a liar. Don't fall into the trap of your flaws being exclusively a superpower or your superpowers being exclusively flaws. They are both. Just like everything powerful in this world, if you use it for good, it's good. And if you use it for bad, it's bad. So we need to know ourselves and we need to know what is going on so we can use our superpowers or flaws, depending on how they're being used. Distractible. We're super distractible. We're distracted. We're easily distracted. We're torn off course. We're pulled by different ideas. If something is shiny, where our attention is directed that way. If I flip that and I think about it positively, I'm a rapid ideator. I can come up with ideas really quickly, and I'm a really good big picture strategist because I don't need you to filter the information for me. I'm going to take in all of the information that's available to me and create ideas from big picture strategy. What you're seeing from the outside is distraction. What I'm seeing is data collection. And don't worry, let me filter through the data on my own. If somebody calls you impulsive, I'm just thinking I should send this episode to my family because these are things that I have heard so many times in my entire life, over and over and over again. You're so impulsive. You're so impulsive. No, I'm a bold decision maker. I'm quick to act. I don't need to do things at your pace because in my brain, I've already made the decisions I've made. So I understand that it seems impulsive to the outside, but it's not impulsive. It's acting on the information that I have now in a bold way. Now, again, from the outside, it might seem like I'm changing my mind and changing my mind and changing my mind and changing my mind. I never saw it that way. I'm not changing my mind. I am pivoting based on additional information I have. So yesterday, I had X information. Today, I got new information. Now I have X plus Y information. So I'm going to make a slightly different decision than I did yesterday. That doesn't mean that yesterday's decision was wrong. It just means that now I know more. So I should be able to do better. Not impulsive, bold. Are you overstimulated easily? You are overstimulated easily because you're taking in all of the information. You don't have as much synaptic pruning as a neurotypical person, meaning your brain is literally intaking more information than the average person. That makes you highly intuitive and sensitive to your environment. That's ideal for emotional branding and human-first leadership. You can really tap into what is going on with other people. Now, for you or for me, it might not always be very comfortable because you're taking on people's big feelings. You keep taking on people's big feelings, but the people around you have an opportunity to thrive because you're able to really see them as they are. Are you inconsistent? My kids always call me consistently inconsistent. What the hell is consistency? I literally don't understand what that means. Because if you reframe it, then you're just a creator who thrives in bursts. Like, what if it is okay to do a lot? What if it's okay to work really hard in a burst, get a ton done, and then do nothing the next day? You're not broken. You just need rhythmic operations. And the rhythmic operations don't necessarily follow a 9 to 5 like every other person who wakes up and goes to work. They wake up, they go to work, they do their work, they come home, they do that. That's not how your brain works. It's not how your body works. It's not how your circadian rhythm works. It's not how anything about you works. And what if it's okay to just lean into that? It's not inconsistent. It's a different pattern of consistency. The cycle looks different. So I want to know from you and ask yourselves, and please tell me, I like to know these things. You can't just leave me. You're talking to myself. What if the trait that you are hiding is actually the trait that's going to build you an empire? For me right now, what that looks like is leaning into things that make people a little bit uncomfortable and a little angry. I've always been an argument starter. I like that little dopamine scratchies of starting a fight. That's one of my biggest strengths, is being able to hold a complex issue in my hands and walk into the fight. I believe that that's the trait that's going to build me my empire, but it's yet to be seen. What is yours? Clarity of strength is your operational strategy. When you are clear about what your strength is, and once you can name it, you can design for it. So if my strength, let's take me as an example, my strength is that I cause arguments. My strength is that I can really kind of get a fight started and get people excited. What do I need to do? I need to establish a backend that's going to support that. So I'm not literally burning things down. I'm burning them down for a purpose. That requires a system. I'm clear on my strength. Now I build the operational strategy that harnesses that strength to its maximum potential. So if you're amazing at having vision, casting a vision for your team, don't manage the back end. Hire, systematize, do both, ideally. If you are energized by client calls, but you hate emails, don't answer your emails. Create structured call blocks and use a distant assistant for inbox filters or AI, like a virtual assistant AI, and filter out your inbox. If you super love hyperfocus, you're a hyperfocus machine, batch and automate everything outside of your flow state time. The business is still working. It's still doing what it needs to do. Not everything needs to be done by you in order to be valid. The feeling that we need to be the one to do everything in order for it to be valid is a trauma response. Systems should support and scaffold your brilliance, not smother it. So design the system for you. Identify the strength, create the system that's going to support that strength, and step back and enjoy. So how do you start identifying your strengths? Here's a couple of tools. And I mean, all of it really comes down to stopping, pausing, asking yourself, and really listening to the answer that you get. But a couple of tools that you can do are journaling, strength journaling. What feels light to me? What feels easy? What do people always come to me for? What do they ask for my help with? What did I love doing as a kid before I felt like I needed to perform for these adult people? Like, what were the things that I really enjoyed doing? You can take some time and do some energy mapping, right? Do a week where essentially you're keeping a log of what drained me, what fed me, what felt natural. This advice is great in theory, not particularly practical for people with ADHD like you and me. But even if you can remember once in a while, like, whoa, this feels really draining, let me jot it down, you're just collecting more and more and more information for yourself. And then do a feedback review, like revisit your testimonials, your texts, your voice notes. What are you specifically constantly praised for from friends, from clients, from people around you? And that's not what you hope to be good at. It's what people actually already know that you're good at. The final reframe for us in this world where we're really just struggling to do our best, and we're seeing the demise of capitalism. Like, everything is changing, everything is shifting. AI is shifting the way that we look at everything, the way that we look at labor, the way that we look at value, the way that we look at commoditization. So in this unprecedented and wackadoodle time, build your business around your brain. Just do it. Like, who cares at this point? Everything is crazy. So stop adopting business models that are designed for neurotypical energy patterns. The real innovator, that's you. You're the one. You're the person who has the ideas that are going to change the world. And your zone of genius is not random. It's a roadmap. It's a roadmap forward for you and a roadmap forward for the entire universe. For this whole world, this whole floating rock that we live on, we are depending on you and on your ideas and on your zone of genius. And the sooner you align your operations with your wiring, the sooner you will exit survival mode, and the more that we can gain from your genius. And certainly the more you can gain from your genius. Listen, you've been trying to be more consistent. But what if your brilliance was never meant to be constant? It was only meant to be clear. Your strengths don't need fixing. They need you to listen. Hey, I'm here. Listen to me. Pick me. Use me. I'm here. Stop ignoring your voice because you were conditioned to do so. Stop ignoring your strengths because you were praised for your weaknesses. Stop feeling like you need to do things the hard way because that's the only way that it feels valuable. Just stop. Stop it. You can. You're allowed to choose. You're an adult now. They don't get to control any single bit of it. This is your life. So go ahead, take a second, DM me one strength that you are reclaiming after this episode. I want to hear it. I need to hear you claiming the strength that you thought was the thing you needed to keep hidden. And I will start. I am reclaiming my strength of creating clarity from chaos. That is my strength. That is what I'm good at. I'm good at looking at a person and seeing where they are and where they want to go and figuring out how to get them from here to there. I was really, really, really not praised for that. I was told to stop being such a pain in the ass and a know-it-all and sticking my nose places where it didn't belong and so on and so forth and so on and so forth. But that's my strength. And today I'm reclaiming it. What are you reclaiming? I will see you next week, squirrels, and I cannot wait. Until then, hydrate, brush your teeth, take a walk, move your body. I'll see you next time. Bye.